I need to go and get a beer.
Well, I do believe we might be live. So welcome everybody to the Let's Drone Out on Thursday, the 23rd of March. It's the last one of GMT for us until next year, or the end of this year. As in, we get our British summertime back very shortly, this Sunday, in fact, meaning instantly from Sunday, we have good weather, sunshine, no wind, no rain, no snow, no hail. Yeah, I mean, it's definite. It's like clockwork in this country. So we are lucky. This week we're joined by the NJ Tech, a night owl, if I ever did know one, who flying around at night these nights. I think I've seen you, sir. So
yes, lots of fun. Lots of fun in the evening.
A true night owl. We've got Tony.
Tell the CAA.
Bonjour.
There is a point on that actually that I'll have to get to later about flying at night and the fears of what these cameras enable. But welcome, Tony.
Hi.
How you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Yeah, it's good to have you back. You sounded really good this week. Last week you were a bit quiet, but this week you're sounding good. Is this a new mic or something?
Well, I've had it a long time. I just haven't used it properly.
Well, we'll try it out this week then. And somebody who has been off on adventures all over the country and all over the world, book fairs and all sorts, I believe, Mr. Adam Juniper. Hello, Adam.
He's now rejoining us. There he is.
Perfect timing. G'day, Adam.
By magic.
Good. My Mac decided that it was exactly the right time to install the new version of the software.
Well, last week we had quads being killed by message tones, so this week we might have your MacBook giving us grief. But hey, it's part of the show. This is the Let's Show Now. Yeah, so
all 4 software updates here, just maybe not right.
Yeah. So Adam, I do believe that you've been playing with some expensive drones yet again. What have you been up to?
Well, what I did was hide for a long time and play with books. Everyone loves books.
They're a bit outdated this day and age, I think, actually. But yeah, everyone still loves books.
Some of them were ebooks, if that helps.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Because in my line of work, we have 2 things. We have the London Book Fair, which is massive, and then the photography show, and the one happens immediately before the other. And I have an annoying amount of prep to do for both, so I sort of hid for a bit, and that's where I've been when I've not been here. So at the book show, I talked about books for a bit.
Was this promoting your own book by any chance?
No, well, mine's long and out there, and very much past news as far as the industry is concerned. No, I'm chatting up bookstores, persuading them to host upcoming books from Ilex Press. We're going to be doing some cool tech stuff as well as the photography list, which we've been doing for ages. So if any of you feels righty, let me know.
An update is always good.
Yeah.
How did they get in touch with you then if they do feel a bit righty inclined?
Go to Ilex Press. Google it. We change the website every week.
Is that because you have a closing down sale and restart, or what? Why do you change it every week?
No, it's just not long ago I decided it was cooler if it was ilex.press without any com or anything like that. And
was it?
I'm not sure, but it's done now.
All right. So if they want to write for this drone book, then, because it is drone related, they can get in touch with that website, which you can probably, if you're on the chat, it might be good to put in the chat. Actually,
I'm not sure.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've been flying. We've been making some homemade gates, our neck of the woods, actually, recently. It's been quite fun.
Electric gates, like county gates, or just. Like
when you scrape your pennies, together because you keep on destroying gates or you destroy these other ones. And actually they turned out pretty good. But yeah, so this week, I mean, it's just a shame that I've had so many issues with my quad and the weather's starting to turn. But at least now it's getting better. But
it has been miserable, hasn't it? Like really surprisingly miserable for a really, really long time.
No, well, it's winter
It's called
in the UK.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But actually, I'm looking forward to this year, and obviously, there's a few things yet to be determined with shows. But one show that was at one place that's opened up this time around, I think, for a permanent FPV venue is a place in Nottingham, and I'm really excited about getting up there. Tony, I thought you would have been there already.
No, not yet. It's too far. It's a long way, man. It's like 3-hour drive or something.
Why don't you fly? East
I'd love
Midlands
to.
Airport. Gatwick to East Midlands, yeah.
Yeah,
I would like to do that, but no.
Gatwick to East
What?
Midlands sounds like all the hell in the world. Doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
Here's your
Yeah.
dream. Here's your dream trip.
And
Oh, yeah.
I can't
2 hours.
really fly. I can't fly indoors very well. I don't know what it is, man, but just indoors, I
don't think
Gatwick to the East Midlands is technically outdoors.
Outdoor, and I don't think you have to fly the plane. I think they fly it for you. But
You know what I mean.
I mean, what sort of issues do you find when you're flying indoors? Is it the multi-power thing, or is it just the fear that you're going to
All of
smash up
that.
the quad? Yeah.
No, I don't care about the quads. It's the not being able to see. I mean, I watched Gary Kent's video and he was blindingly fast, but the just the breakup of his video, and it's like you've got to. I don't know. It does it. He guesses the next corner and stuff.
This is why Clearview needs to come down in price.
Yeah.
Everyone needs a Clearview. They're astonishing for that kind of thing. I definitely. It's on my list. Maybe at some point I'll get one.
I think Neil from iDrone's going to order some on Monday. I think if you private message him.
Yeah, I saw Neil post that he was gonna bring a few in. Maybe I might be able to bend his arm to borrow one for testing. But everything I'm hearing about that thing is awesome. So I definitely want to have a go.
You do know what that means, though, don't you? I'm going to change my channel to Fat Shark 1 just so I can always. Oh, can I just borrow your receiver while you're not flying?
Yeah, I think they need to start putting in the manuals. Fat Shark 1 is just, specifically my channel. Just so.
Or no. Here's a better idea: have a coin-operated slot that if they want to plug into your receiver, they put some £2 coins in.
Yeah, that's a good
Then
idea.
it'll pay for itself after a summer, maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
It looks really good though.
I haven't seen it in operation in the flesh, so to speak. So. I wouldn't mind seeing it.
I haven't seen it in the flesh. I've just watched back people. I spoke to Metal Danny a couple of days ago, and he sent me some videos and showed me some videos of him flying in a car park, and it's just crystal all the time. There's just like no breakup.
And let's face it.
And how much money are we talking?
The race edition is $350.
To put it another way, a portion of a kidney. Yeah. A measurable portion of a kidney.
And I think the pro's about 700, but I think Banny was using the race edition, and that's what he lent. Is it Daniel Peters who won? Is that his name? I can't remember his name.
I'm not entirely sure who won. I don't think I can get the results, but I only saw it. And actually, the one thing that was a resounding memory in my mind, if I park my car there, at least my car's not worth anything to worry about the window being smashed. But yeah, I don't know what sort of neck of the woods it's in, but Banny's mum's car had bits stolen and a window smashed. It's not good.
I thought stereo thieving went out in the night.
I know. They make them harder to steal, so all they do is just smash the window nowadays as well. I don't know which is worse. They just...
I'm sure my car, which I'm about to give up and become a proper Londoner without a car, but it doesn't have a stereo as such. There's a bit where discs can go in, but like there's nothing you could take out.
Yeah, it's true. There's the old module thing's kind of sort of been and gone now. Everything's just sort of built into the dash, isn't it?
That's why Parrot got into making drones, because they used to make car stereos and stuff, or car bits.
Yeah, I'm sure I've got a Parrot Bluetooth thingy for my car somewhere.
They needed to expand, and they clearly had a sense of fun.
A logical step.
Yeah.
Parrot car accessories, really? Wow.
Yeah. That was what they did before, I think. AR.
I suppose their name is transferable. Parrot if it's repeating sound, and Parrot if it flies in the air. So, yeah. I've never actually flown a Parrot. Has anyone here flown a Parrot drone at all?
Oh, no. Do we have to put our hands up?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. I'm the only one that hasn't.
No. I haven't.
Also had,
oh, sorry, Tony.
I also had one of mine smashed up by a child this weekend.
What? You want a parrot? One of your parrots?
So,
yeah, but you don't care because you're single-handedly keeping DJI afloat, I believe. Haven't you bought something else, DJI? Come on,
I'll get to that.
Come on, Adam. Your minute is up. Come on.
All right. I was going to justify myself, but I was up at the photography show, and I was giving a talk on the stuff in the book, why people buy drones. For
was this in Birmingham?
In the NEC in Birmingham. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, my parents were in there.
Oh, right. I don't know if they were came to see me or not. There weren't any booze, so probably not.
Probably not.
And I thought it'd be more fun if we had some people come up and say tries to land fly and land a parrot. I put a copy of my book like 15 meters away. They had to take off, fly, land, and whoever landed nearest got to keep it. And then, yeah, I know what a prize, eh? And the thing I had lying around from a previous like corporate event was a parrot bebop. And I thought, well, you can put the safety things on the side of it. It's not too expensive, and it's big enough that you can see it from a bit of a distance. So I let this guy do it, and he did very nicely. And then a little kid's like, I want to go, and he's like 9, and he gets up and he flies it smoothly, and he hovers right above the book. And then he powers it into the wall of the side of the NEC. Bits of it go everywhere. Yeah.
Did it make you smile though, or was it fond memories of this thing that you'd?
It actually, I will say this for the
thing. Did you weep?
It flew again the next day.
Oh, okay.
They are the little protected side bits of the net are very well built. So because that's what they're for, isn't it? Having fun with inside and surviving. They are definitely not for, I can say from experience, programming to fly around the pier in Brighton with the camera.
No.
Because the battery doesn't last that long.
Well, it might have if you changed it.
How do you mean changed it?
Well, the story was that you
flew
it for a while and didn't change it.
Two battery. Yeah, I should have put the yeah.
But if I remember correctly.
Anyway, what Jay's trying to point out is, to make myself feel better on my way back, I might have accidentally spent some money at the DJI stand because there was one DJI drone I don't have yet.
Got to catch them all.
Yeah.
And that was little foldable.
The little Mavic.
The one that you put into a little cot by your bed every night and stroke and kiss goodnight. Mind you, it was voted the best consumer / even semi-pro drone, I guess, for its size, portability, and
that's what I was thinking. I'm getting rid of the car. It's not easy to move around some of the other stuff.
Not that you'll be able to fly in London anywhere soon anyway, probably. But
yeah, that's a good point. There's stuff going on today, isn't there?
Well, all over the time, I think. But if the Parrot, I think wasn't that the first drone to actually get skyjacked, as in someone showed how you could take over a Parrot whilst it was in flight, and you'd lose control.
It's probably pretty easy. It's Wi-Fi, isn't it? So I bet you could do it. There's probably an app for that.
The thing is, and actually, NJ, you might know about this. Tony and I were talking the other day about this new feature to be able to adjust your PIDs in flight over one of your spare channels. And this raises problems. If you're going to start like changing the actual software or changing a quad of how it flies and what it does and everything like that, surely this needs to be starting to be encrypted on the traffic.
Well, it kind of is anyway. I mean, the way the spectrums work, the spectrum system work with DSMX and how the FrSky stuff works, they're always channel hopping, and they've got a very bulletproof link between the two. So it's just using, and same with the telemetry link as well, using SPort. It's all running down that system. So I don't think that's under any threat, to be honest with you.
Well,
you can get many pilots up in the air at once without any kind of problems or interference. Whether it's targeted maliciously by some very clever programmers to then, I don't think the hobby or anything in this side of it is any kind of feasible target for any group to take the time to do that, to be honest with you, right now. But if they start putting Skynet style gun drones into the air, there are malicious people that might think, well, we could do things with that. But I don't think that now we have to worry too much.
Well, I know the US government said that they're going to skyrocket, pardon their pun. In 2021, they're expecting 3.6 million drones, which is up 1.1, so almost 3 times as many as this year, expected to be flying. And interestingly, last year they had 670,000 registrations through the FAA. So I suppose at some point they're getting more mainstream to that point, and exploits and things, they are going to start taking over more services, I suppose. And the biggest threat would be a flying car or flying quad that carries people, and they may be targeted. But yeah, I mean, the resilience of the systems is always one thing, but there are going to be other threats, I think, on that one.
I can never really tell with the future, where the idea is that we'll just end up sat in one place while drones and robots bring stuff to us, and we never.
Is that what you want?
Or the other one, where there are going to be amazing little personal transport devices that get us everywhere without the need for airlines or trains or anything annoying like that.
Yeah,
I just worry about Skynet taking over.
Well, that's inevitable anyway.
But I think the number one fear that people have at the moment is spying, isn't it? Like, if I'm flying that, the number one issue that people have with FPV in general is, you're going to spy, you're spying with it and stuff. And even if they say it quite flippantly, that's the thing.
Yeah, it's the thing they thought. The two things I always include when I'm asked to talk about it, what if I don't, I'll get asked at the end. Do people use them for spying, and will it crash a jet?
Absolutely, those are the two things. I completely agree. There's the media side of it, which says that are buzzwording it and trying to make it a scary thing. That's the jet side, and then there's the people that don't understand it and don't know what you're doing, and the paranoid side of it, which then go, "Well, are you using it to look at me whilst I play Just Dance in my living room?" So
that's you, obviously.
Well, I mean, it's purely an idea of just throwing it out there. You could be doing anything, of course. But wasn't there a video on Richard's channel, that HPI guy, where someone came over and did exactly that, came over and kicked off and said, you could be spying on me. And although, it really got Richard's back up, and I can understand why. I mean, I've had people approach before. It's that thing of, you've got to be an educator. You've got to, I always keep normally keep a screen with me so that I can show people. And the minute you show people, look, this is what I'm seeing, it just, their face lights up and they think it's amazing. But that's part of the responsibility of us as a group of, enthusiasts and hobbyists, that we've got to educate people that are coming into the hobby, because it's growing exponentially, and make sure it stays safe. Despite these big figures,
was that woman that beat up a
thing.
nerd back in 2014, wasn't there?
Oh, was there? Blimey.
Yeah, they were somewhere on a beach, and he was, he wasn't actually at fault, I don't think, but he
got beaten up anyway.
And it was actually quite funny, although, I mean, terrible, not awful. The thing I always try and do is point out the cameras. I mean, unless you've got fancy equipment with you, the cameras are very much like mobile phone cameras. You're like 4 meters away from someone, you can barely see them. But that's changing. That's something people really understand, that whole wide angle lens thing. I know, Jay, it's not going to last.
But the other thing as well is, nowadays we can actually buy things that allow you to see mostly in pitch blackness. So if people start picking up wind of these, owl cameras and whatnot, then that is another aspect to it. But to be honest, it means more fun for us.
Yeah, and why do we want to? Why would we want? I thought that is what you meant.
No.
Why do we want to spy on people when
Why not? We've got a duty to do to uphold for our national interest.
Oh yeah. Now actually, spying on people could be considered patriotic.
But you see, there is now. I mean, this week they announced a 24-hour day, 7-day week drone unit in Cornwall. I think it is, Somerset region.
Yeah. Does that mean they're on call, or does that mean they've got a lot of batteries?
No, I don't think they're going to fly constantly, but I think they'll have they have the deployment ready to go for anything for, I guess, search and rescue. Maybe the police are going to become search and rescue as well as police, because firefighters. You see, the thing is, the emergency services are starting to employ them, and so that's the point where people probably have a vested interest in over the security of it, and yeah. Interesting though.
Sorry, I'm trying to find the video of them.
Oh, it's some young kid, but she called the police on him, didn't she? Even though she's beating him up.
Yeah.
And
he's just woman on his iPhone or something. Drone.
Posted in the chat. Are you in the chat? By the way, we've got to say some hi to some of our regulars that always come into the chat room. And if you just post in the country you're from, we can see how far around the world we're actually getting. So hello to Striker FPV, Chris, Klegger, Yeah, it's good to see people coming in, and there's a few more, but we'll give you a shout out. If you've got any questions as well, pop them in there and we'll see if we can answer them. Yeah.
That's a difficult.
So regardless of the privacy issue, I actually had my first opportunity to witness some of these low light level cameras, and I was blown away at the 1177 and some others. And NJ, you were the one that tinkered with these to get them onto flying machines. Do you want to tell us a bit more about your findings of these wonderful cameras?
Good video. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, cheers. No, it was a fun thing to do. It was I was asked to have a look at a couple of RunCam bits and pieces, so I just sort of looked through what there was. And it was because recently we went and did that little night flight with the LED gates and stuff, and everyone just took their regular equipment down, and we soon found out that, you know, some of our quads were handling the low light situation okay, and some of them were just you know, with the IR blocking on the lens, were really suffering, and you just couldn't see anything. And interestingly, in that test we did, because we looked at three, we did my standard HS 1177 with the IR blocking. We looked at a Owl Plus RunCam and the RunCam Night Eagle. And the standard 1177, you could see at night under street lighting, but that's all you could see. And the problem is, as soon as you start to get into the darker areas, is your inability to see the ground, and that is the ground and the horizon. And without those reference points, it becomes it's like flying in space. You know, not that I've got that to reference to, but you get what I'm saying. It's that whole thing of not being quite sure how far you are from the ground, and it's just very uncomfortable to do. But the Owl Plus and especially the Night Eagle were pretty phenomenal in terms of their low light performance. You know, they really do light up the ground nicely, and the Owl Plus I had on my little 130, and you'll see in the video that I put up, the second I got on the 130 in that Owl Plus, after flying the 1177, it was immediately started, you know, flipping, looping, rolling, having fun. You know, it immediately had that comfort level. And one of my commenters made a good point, actually. They said they live out in Thailand, and they said during the day there's such a bad mosquito problem. Most people don't want to be, you know, in goggles with their hands tied up with a million mosquitoes landing on them.
Of course, you can't swat them off. Yeah.
Yeah. So they said, you know, flying very early in the morning or in the evenings, actually the time when everyone tends to go out and do most of their FPV stuff. So that was quite interesting. So they said the Owl and the Owl Plus and the Night Eagle, these style of cameras are actually far more popular out in those areas. But I really enjoyed it. You know, often the wind is a lot calmer in the evening. You know, all the thermal activity disappears, and often find things calm down a bit. So it's often very favourable flight conditions. The air temperature cools a little bit. So I can see why there are pros for doing it. The only thing I found
now wondering out loud, like, would it be possible to take a much bigger drone and use it to chop up lots of mosquitoes? Just have it in the air.
You need to combine those into the electrifying. You've seen the electrifying swatty things. That's
you could make a lot of money that way.
I think you need millions of tiny ones to chase them down, actually, and make them FPV.
That'd be great. Little Star Wars.
You know, I wouldn't allow that. Would you?
You have to gamify.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Tony and his being nice to
until
animals
you get malaria. Yeah.
But the best thing you should do against mosquitoes is get the cheapest mouthwash you could ever get it. Just drench yourself in cheap mouthwash, and you'll never get bit ever again.
Wow. Tony,
that is my hillbilly. That's my hillbilly tip for summer night flying.
Does it dry?
Unlike most hillbillies, your teeth will be great as well if you've got all that fluoride lying around.
Amazing.
Oh, excellent. Yeah.
So
well, Clegarass actually.
Don't kill them.
NJ, have you actually flown any of them in the daytime yet? I mean, you've had all day today.
No, I'll tell you what I've been doing today actually in a minute, but that will be my next test, because it'll be interesting to see that the Night Owl. God, I get these names confused. Right, the Night Eagle is the one with the best night performance, and that one is black and white only. So I'll be interested to see whether that really blows out in the day, or whether it's still flyable in the day. The Owl Plus is a full color camera, so that's the one I'm really interested in. I think from my understanding of the Owl Plus, it's not quite as pretty as an IR blocked HS1177 during the day, but it's still very good. The color palette's great as well. It's really natural colors.
Is it CCD? Or CMOS?
You know what? I don't know the answer to that. It's not CMOS. I think it is
right.
CCD. Yeah, one of them is CMOS though. But I think the thing with the Owl Plus is, as I said, it's not quite as pretty in the day as a standard 1177. So it's a little bit less, but then it's got a much wider envelope that it can go way past the low light levels that would normally knock out the 1177.
That's the one you're gonna want on your quad where you're flying late evening and then you can carry on.
Yeah, that's the one that will cover the longest
in the day and the night. Yeah,
like when we've been up at Hidden Valley in those summer nights and it's just, you know, twilight and it's just starting to kick in and everyone's coming down, and with this you could quite easily keep going for another 3-4 hours. I think that is and for the price, the other thing with the Night Eagle is an expensive camera. You do have to pay for that real low light sensitivity. So the Owl, for me, the Owl Plus is the one at the minute. I'm very impressed with that, but I have some more on the way and some Foxeer alternatives. So yeah, I'm gonna try them all out.
I think flying daytime black and white, it's doable, but we're pretty much kids of the generation of color TV, aren't we? So in color everything, we're not used to this black and white malarkey.
Yeah, indeedy. I really enjoyed doing the night fly stuff. So yeah, I'm going to leave the Owl in the little 130, and yeah.
You know, one other test you need to do is in midsummer in the UK, where it's pretty much light, or even up in Scotland, where Striker's there, he might help you out, is see if you can fly on a HS 1177 all night through. Or you might have to go to Norway where you're going to have permanent daylight, but maybe that's the other answer. Move to somewhere where you don't get any nighttime.
That sounds like an expensive one.
Scotland, it'd just be raining.
Oh, come on, you're ever the pessimist, aren't you, Tony? Yeah.
It's always raining. I've got FPV buddies up there. We're not even out. It's raining.
Actually, no. I'll tell you one thing. I've had most of my for my photographic and video flights in Scotland have a beautiful weather, sunshine, and the beaches were white, and generally
they've got lovely beaches.
Yeah, I think it's just luck. How lucky are you when you travel? But
yeah, man.
Tony, tell us what you were talking about.
We are.
Fossil stuff then, because Fossil stuff have been supporting us for a long time. And actually, we really appreciate Martin and Fossil stuff. And
yeah, I just wanted to say thanks to him because he's been a patron for a long time, helping us out. So I just want to say thanks, Martin and Fossil stuff, for keeping us going, because the editing costs the most to get us on SoundCloud and
podcasts.
I think you were saying that Fossil stuff is also still a good place to go to get very solid 180,
Well, what I was saying was actually you still had the original options of the bomb-proof ones for new flyers, which I think a lot of people have learned on these things.
Possibly not the best phrase to use right now.
Hey, look, we have to just learn to accept terms like bomb-proof.
Fair enough.
But yeah. Car-proof, that's another thing altogether. But yeah, and well, the new Revo frame, I really like the design, and it's good to actually support, because we're in the UK, a UK company that's making frames, because too often we look overseas, I think. So thank you, Martin, for keeping Let's Drone Out on the air.
Yes, and on that note, I do have a review video of the Revo, which I shall be posting very shortly with my thoughts on it. But yeah, looking forward to building into that thing.
Do you know if you're putting what are you doing with it? What build? What ESCs on the arm, or are you going to keep them inside?
That's what I'm going to try and keep everything as internal as possible. Try and keep those arms as transparent as possible to the airflow, because I want to really see what that effect is like. Maximize that effect. So yeah, and I'll probably go for a 2600 kV kind of battery killing setup and just see what we get.
I've just ordered 26,000 kV.
Yeah, they will monster your battery, but for winning races you can't really beat them.
I think you should go for the 2750 white edition battery killers, the true battery killers. I mean, those Emax ones that are coming up.
I've got those coming whenever they're
Have
finally.
you? Oh.
Yeah, they will be coming. So maybe I'll put those in that. And
I keep seeing pictures
Can
of
you-
magnets slipping on all these new Emacs.
really, that's not good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's quite an easy thing to fix. If they have an issue with that adhesive, it's the problem is that the biggest problem that you've got is that you risk taking the motors out of balance if you
That's what I was
stop
going to say.
around
The balance will go.
yeah, you have to be a little bit careful. You don't need a lot of adhesive because remember there's that centrifugal force that's pushing those out and into place. So it should be fine. But yeah, it's not good that if that's happening. I mean, Emacs, those original race series motors, and I had the prototypes on the original race series, which were the reds that were black before they were red, if you follow me. And they're still good. They're still going.
I got
beat the
mine.
life out of them.
All my quads sitting on my bench next to me are all Emacs red bottoms, but the first lot, and they all seem to be fine. But my mate Brad, as he had 2 or 3 go, I read on a post where a group of lads had 20 motors. All the magnets went. I've seen pictures of the new white ones with the all the like 3 magnets on one. So I don't know if it's just.
Well, I'll pull the bell housing off and have a look at it
few.
before I fly it and see if there's anything that's a tell for that. But that's certainly interesting. Yeah.
But it could be just like over, however many thousand. It's only going to be a few. So.
Yeah. It might just be, an issue with the production run. These things do happen. What Emacs did, they're the other thing they had was that issue with their first run of BL Heli S ESCs. But I mean, those were rushed to get out when BL Heli S was like a light turning on and everyone was right. BL Heli is going to be the next big thing. Emacs were one of the first to get their Lightning ESCs out, and I had terrible issues with those, which they fixed in the. They did a revision update, and Joshua actually pointed out. He said, "This is the price you pay for living on the bleeding edge." And it is. If you want the first version of everything, the second it comes out, there is always a chance you're gonna be helping with the beta testing as well. And then it's usually the 1.1 version of the item that ends up coming out without the problems. So one of those things.
Yeah. Well, I've just bought my first set of 8 Brother Hobby, returners? I don't know what they're going to be like. But
they're very good motors, very good performance statistics. I haven't actually tried or flown a set, but there's overwhelming evidence to say that those are a very good motor. So I think you'll have good results with that.
Good.
Yeah, I've also got the new Cobras, because Cobra seem like they've been quiet for a little while, but Cobra have been around a very, very long time. There are some of these motor companies that really take their time with releasing new motors, and you shouldn't dismiss them just because they're not the flavor of the month. But Cobra have a lot of experience in motor technology, and they have produced some fantastic motors for good value. So their latest ones, which are 2207.
Yeah, 24. They're doing a 2450 and they're doing a 2600 edition. That's the motor I'm going to go for, the 2450s. I think.
Yeah, that's my favorite KV. I've got those coming at some point to. Really excited to check those out. I know a few people I trust that have reported good things about those in terms of performance and power.
Whereas
I've got the 2400 F40 on my acro quad.
Yeah.
Freestyle quad.
Oh, Tony does acro freestyle. He heard it here first. Actually, I saw your video of freestyle stuff the other day, man. But I
know that was on a Revo frame, which is designed basically for racing, but I think it flies well.
Forget the magnetic pulse switching. Tony's switched from racing to doing freestyle events and diving through towers. NJ's now broadening his horizons to potentially think racing. Yeah, and Adam is going to do his first FPV thing soon. So what is happening with the world is getting turned upside down.
It's not right, is it?
It is.
One of us soon is going to deliver a pizza. That's going to be the...
No. I mean, first we had ordering on the internet, next it's pizza delivery with drone. It's only a matter of time. But yeah. No, I
You
mean,
can't, you can't get them to knock politely on the door and wait for a tip. That's the problem.
The thing about motors is actually the other thing is, I mean, I think you had the problem with your ZMX motors where sometimes you might fall in love with a motor, but if you don't buy enough spares when they're actually out, you can find it hard to find spares again for that set of motors. So
yeah, or if you knock one off and put it somewhere sensible, and then forget where somewhere sensible is.
And yeah. I mean, the other thing is with the Emacs, I think because there was other issues with the standard red bottom S, weren't they? Some people were saying some issues, and you wonder if they are so popular from the original time around, can they really keep the quality control up for the next batch of runs that they do? And are they just going to maximize profit for nothing?
I think all the motors have had problems. Like Cobra, you remember Cobra went bad for 6 months, and people were just like, Cobra are done now, that's it. And then people were so moaning, but they seem to up their game and come back now with some really nice looking motors.
I think it's like anything, isn't it? You can only test this stuff to a certain length, but then at some point you've got to say, let's go for it. Let's get the production run done while the marketing's going on, and we'll get it out. And at which point you've got stock of a massive amount of motors, and if they have some inherent problem, that's going to be there's an element of risk in there. It's it can be a very costly thing. So yeah, that's just the way things go, I guess.
Yeah.
New framed. I mean, I've always Striker's saying his TSX 200 is his current favorite racing frame at the moment, and this is the one point I'd like to get to. I know UAV Futures changed his favorite frame. What's your current favorite frame then, NJ? Just for whatever motors you're putting on, what is your current frame?
My current favorite frame at the minute, which I'm really working to get perfect in every way that I can, is the Beast X. That is my, just because there's some really, really nice engineering ideas that have gone into it, and it's a tank, and I've crashed it. The first race flight video I put up of it on the stock settings, I mean, I crashed it at a good 60 mile an hour straight into a tree, and yeah, it's just one prop which I changed out. You were there, and we went flying again. So it's tough, which is great for freestyle. It's a great weight. I like the design layout. I like where things are mounted, how it goes together. It's just that is ticking a lot of boxes for me as a frame, but as a freestyle frame for me. If you're a racer, or if you do 50% of your time is racing, then you may think there's something more suitable for you. It is a very subjective thing. So yeah, but that's my current favorite, the Beast X. Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, see, I know somebody who's bought a Chameleon, Clegger in fact, and he's still got his old Weaver trying to migrate. And I'm just wondering, did you go straight to your Beast X straight away, or was it a love affair that you developed over time? Because you've liked your Beast X pretty much from the get-go, haven't you?
Well, the designer Sharon Opperskin, he'd been sending me photos of this, 3D drawings of this quad, probably a good 6 months before anything kind of tangible was there, to then say, right, here you go, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get 5 made up. I'm going to send you one. So I had a bit of time to get excited about it, and what I saw he was doing, I was just really liking the various ideas that he came up with. And then in the interim, I had the GT2, which shares some similarities, and I just really like that kind of style of frame. That seems to suit my style, and tunes up well and flies well. I'm not really on board with the stretch decks thing, but then again, I'm not a racer. That's more of a racing thing.
See, the thing is, I found it interesting. It brings a tear to my heart when people are selling their QAVRs, and I think, oh wow, I've loved my QAVR for the whole of summer, almost the whole year. Well, coming up to half a year, I've loved it, and it's really grown on me. And I don't know if I could ever part with it, but I know you've got rid of yours. Other people have sold those. And at what point does a favorite become I'm going to move on and I don't care about it anymore? Because I know people that buy a new frame that may fly very differently sometimes don't move back anymore. So
yeah, I guess it's just evolution of design, isn't it?
When people have their second children, they just get rid of their first.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
They never. Yeah. Yeah.
So here's a question. There's something that I've got in the post today for a random subject change. Who knows what this is? Any guesses in the comments?
I reckon it goes
It's a
in the
T.
Tranis.
That's a very good guess. Do you know what it is?
It's something to interface with the.
Well, as the saying goes, I don't know what this is, but here comes another one. Yeah, this is the broken one, and this is the one that's being replaced. Yeah, this is the internal XJT module of the Taranis. For any of you out there that haven't opened up your Taranis or don't know what this part is, that is the internal module. Now, one of the problems.
So, what did you do to screw up the first one?
Well, this is something I don't know because it was while I was traveling in Australia, and one day out of the 11 or so flights I took where everything was going in the hold, more or less. The radio was in the hold anyway. I just went to fly and I had a range of about 50 meters, and I thought, well, that's definitely not right. And yeah, the internal module had died, so I've ordered a new one. Now, the bit that broke is this bit here. So that is the transmitter, this one on top.
Okay.
It's that tiny little thing, but it is hard soldered on there, and it would be an absolute pig to remove, and you can't get it on its own. That's something they've done something about with the QX7. They've broken this up into more sections because you can see this also carries the main communication from the LCD screen. There's the on the back you've got the USB connection, the SD card. There's so much on here, and the actual only bit that's gone is this. And that's one thing I don't like about the Taranis internal design, because this is about 1/3 the cost of the whole Taranis, running at around 50 quid. So that's one nice thing they've changed to the QX7. They've broken this up into a few more parts, but yeah, I'm going to be swapping.
So do you reckon it was sand, or do you reckon it was going through you know, when you have to put stuff through like an X-ray machine, would that muck it up? Yeah.
No, the X-rays won't do anything to electronics. They'd have to amp that up to some pretty considerable levels of radiation.
Maybe the throwers and their enthusiasm.
Yeah.
What about sand? Because you said you had sand in there.
I did find some sand on the adhesive of the screen, which I posted to Paul over at BMS Web, just to show him that I did bring back some Sydney sand with me from Oz. So I don't think it was that. It's a really difficult thing to be able to find out why that happened. It's also happened to Bruno Carmo, the other guy who I fly a lot with, Carmo FPV. His has happened. It's maybe. I mean, the board revision I noticed here. Let me just see. My Taranis is probably about 1.5 years old, and it is version 4. Let me see. I've got a version number here. So it is version number Rev 0.4. A revision of a board shouldn't have a 0 in front of it. A production version should have a 1 point something. 0 usually means beta. I'm not sure if that should be right, but anyway, it was 0.4. The new one is 0.6, and I was having a look. There's a few trace layout changes, so it might be that this is. That as the board revision has been updated, they may have fixed a few things on it. I don't know. Difficult to confirm, but things are always changing, so you never know.
And Jay, Raymond Kerr does ask if it's for the original Taranis or the Plus.
That's for the Plus, the X9D
Plus.
Yeah.
There you go, Raymond. For the
I'm
Plus.
still on my original. Mine's about 2 years old now.
Yeah, so I mean, generally the quality of the FR Sky stuff is great, and you open one up, you see they're very nicely loomed, and yeah, I just think it's one of them things. Unfortunately, it happened to me, but I shall sort that out.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, it's not entirely related, but I had a nice snowboard. I was sat still in a EasyJet flight at Luton Airport. I watched them throw the thing out of the plane, fell onto the runway, and then they ran over it with a little train.
Nice. 3 for 3.
It wasn't the only thing they ran over, but they did grudgingly accept because there were tyre lines over it when it came out.
Yeah. Well, it might have been.
Maybe they had to replace it. Yeah.
A good friend of mine's a pilot, and I can't remember what they've kind of got a nickname for them. I think they're called runway rats or something like that.
I still call them throwers after the Fight Club scene.
Yeah, I just wish they didn't look quite so smug when they do it.
Yeah, well, I reckon they try and get a few done.
Bit of job satisfaction.
Runway rats. I'll remember that.
Yeah, it's something like that. But yeah.
That'll do.
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to the London Drone Racing Club while we're on.
What are you competing in that, Adam? Or
I'm not competing in there. They're just a nice group of lads who cannot stop texting each other.
Aww.
I'm on the WhatsApp or whatever it's called, the chat thing.
So you're not paying on the chat and yeah.
It is constant now.
So why are they a nice group of people? Do they make you tea or coffee? Do they give you biscuits? Do they? What's so nice about London? What was it?
I went and had a little fly with them when I just wanted to play, and they just were very welcoming. I think.
Aww.
Yeah.
What a lovely community we have.
Yes. Well, that's it. We're all lovely. Speaking
Who's
of
that
lovely,
little-
look. Hello.
Aww. Is it?
Oh, look.
Hello.
Oh, you can wave on your own. You don't need my help, do you?
Now I'm supposed to sleep on the floor.
Does she just
I-
realise she's
I-
live?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I do hope that he's going to be flying FPV after you. Yeah.
Oh, I've just worked out the joke she was doing. She was referencing that BBC guy, the guy being interviewed.
Oh, walking in.
Oh, I see. Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
that was hilarious. That's really.
In fact, do you want to
Very
get her
much
on?
enjoyed.
No, ask her if she could come on and answer a few questions about drones. We'll make them easy. Like, have you ever let her fly a drone?
No.
Oh. It was worth a try.
Can Adam buy more?
Yeah. Maybe we should avoid that area of questioning.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
actually, I genuinely can't remember. I think I tried to persuade her to try the Phantom 4 when I had that, but she wasn't very interested.
I do remember actually letting Dom Robinson's kids have a fly of the Phantom 4, and they loved it, and they were quite young at the time. But you know,
the kid's a little. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
the little one is a little too young. And having had someone else's little one smash up. No.
You know what, though? We should be allowing kids to fly drones, whether they're parrots or whatever, because they will be making the decisions over us in 30, 40, 50 years' time.
Good point.
And I want to fly FPV long into my old age. So,
Are you saying that children are going to more successfully engage with the political process than we will bother?
possibly, yes. Maybe they'll be a bit more sorted out with technology rather than Luddites.
I do know that there are various meetings being held in Westminster today and tomorrow on the subject of.
Yes, there is.
Well, see, that's very interesting.
Authority.
DJI obviously released their policy department and their legal department released documentation saying how many they'd helped save. I don't have the exact figure to hand, but they were quite. They limited the factors down to only with the ones that had a news story that they could verify, only the ones where the person's life was imminently in danger.
You're saying that news should be true? Because I'm not sure.
No, I'm just saying they were very careful. They were very careful not to just do the.
Sounds very outmoded.
A friend of a friend said that their wife was saved by a drone because it cooked dinner. I don't know, but basically they were saying the only ones that had a verifiable threat to life, that perhaps a rope was carried. They had various cases in that study.
I can see why they would.
So
I can see why they would want to be.
They have a vested interest in making sure policy changes for their liking. I know. But
in fairness, but that's on our side too. So you know.
Exactly.
In this case,
all I'm saying is I do hope whilst they're in these discussions in Parliament or wherever, that they do take it on board, and hopefully businesses like that can help push it forward as well. So.
Well, I think it's. I mean, I think it's probably. You know, we know that the Amazon do their research in this country. I imagine now this country will be desperate to do anything that maintains any sort of investment.
Well, this is the thing. Perhaps this.
So it's probably quite good news from our point of view.
From a Brexit point of view, yeah, we could become what the Middle East started to do with Dubai, and actually start holding less restrictive world, showcases of UAV technologies, whether it's how fast they race around or whatever. But
yeah, we'll probably do what we normally do, which is to build an incredible, prestigious brand and then sell it to the Germans.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we did with Mercedes. And, oh no, hang on.
Let's not get started.
All right. I'm going to suggest we finish on time.
I don't know if it's slightly early, Mister. You have to pad it out for a few more minutes. Once again, I'd like to say a massive thank you to Fossil Stuff, because we wouldn't be on the air without that. We can't afford it. So thank you, Fossil Stuff. And NJ, are you going to you've got the Revo frame? You're
I will be uploading my frame. Well, it's all done. It's uploaded. I'm going to publish it probably in the next 10 minutes or so. So yeah, if you want to go have a look at my thoughts on the Revo frame, that will be going up shortly.
Excellent.
Cool.
Yeah, 10 minutes. We'll hold you to that.
Yeah, but I've got to go make a sandwich and do stuff before I,
order of priorities.
Yeah.
Committing to that upload button is it's a big task, isn't it?
I've got to remember which one of these is the broken one.
It was in your left hand.
Yeah. Revision numbers.
They're both broken. Get a Spectrum. Actually, it's interesting on the Spectrum front. Maybe we can chat about that more. As in, a Tyrannus user is now moving to Spectrum. This is someone that we all know.
Faster.
No. I think so, but because maybe it's the hype train. Maybe we can have a discussion on that next week. But
that's
all I'm saying.
I'm very interested to follow the progress. Well, let's hold on. Let's
We're not going to.
Spectrum is very good. Spectrum is good, but I will say the nice thing about the open source of Tyrannus, and the Racefight guys have said they are considering looking into or looking at the firmware of the Tyrannus and how to make it even faster. So, that's all good. It's all good. Just own both. That's what I
well, you have both, don't you? But on one final note, I suppose, unless you're really up there with the, I don't know, your reaction times and things, most people fly brilliantly with Tyrannus that they'd only ever dream of on Spectrum, and vice versa. It's more on the pilot than it is the actual radio, I think. But
I think Raceflight 1 have just released their new update, so you can actually control from your Tyrannus. You can control everything.
That's correct. Well, yeah, you can now use smart audio telemetry in the latest. It's release candidate 5 they're up to now. It just jumped from 1 to 5. I didn't spot any kind of interim, but yeah, you can now use Lua script on your Tyrannus, and you can set your VTX channel and your power of your VTX if you're running a TBS Unify or similar that will support smart audio. I think the Tramp supports smart audio as well, the Immersion RC Tramp. Don't quote me on that. But yeah,
I definitely know that.
It's great. I love the Lua script stuff. Super cool. So yeah.
What it is we've got an exciting year ahead on for different developments, and it's finally perhaps the radios are starting to see more development, whereas before in the past they've just been made. But well, someone's gonna have to talk me out because I have to go back to another PC in another room to actually close this call. So until I do that, we're all chatting. But thank you all for listening once again. This is the trouble when Gremlins come around. In fact, I would actually give you a live tour, but maybe that's too much. But yeah, Gremlins do come around every so often, and we do apologize. They interrupt the show and you have to find another YouTube stream and stuff like that. But thanks for tuning in. As always, we will be back next week.
Sorry, Adam, I've muted you, and you'll have to unmute yourself. Bye-bye, little driver.
Well, thanks for that last passing note, Tony. Thanks, Tony, for joining in. And thanks, Adam. Thanks, NJ. Thanks, all this. Let's try it out.
And say bye to Leo and Vassie as well.
Bye-bye.
Oh, bye, Leo and Vassie. Bye. Say bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, no.